on air.
Give us that to see.
Okay, so I'm going to call the regular council meeting for the town of Westville to order. Begin with acknowledging that we are meeting in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq, and that we are all treaty people as we work towards reconciliation. Also want to acknowledge the histories, legacies, and contributions of the African Nova Scotia people who've been here for over 400 years. With that, roll call, Councillor Dunn to my right, Councillor McKinnon to my right, CAO Weirs, and to my left, for the first time tonight officially, Deputy Mayor McGregor. Congratulations to Deputy Mayor on assuming that seat, and thank you again to previous Deputy Mayor McKinnon. Declaration of conflict of interest. Anyone have a declaration to declare? None? Hearing none. Just before we get going, Remembrance Day is coming, as we all know, within the next couple of weeks. This will be our last council meeting prior to that. I want to send out an acknowledgement to Don Calder for the number of years that he's contributed to our Remembrance Day services here in Westville as a president of the Legion for many years. And as some of you perhaps know, Don is undergoing some health issues currently, and we want to send from council and residents of this town to Don our warmest wishes for a recovery, speedy recovery, and all the best. I know that Remembrance Day won't be the same without Don's contribution, but we'll soldier through. I just wanted to say that at the beginning of our meeting tonight, recognition of Remembrance Day coming. Okay, with that, additions, deletions, and approval of the tentative agenda, I just have one item under new business that I wanted to add, so we'll do it 9F, I guess, and that's Remembrance Day crosswalk. So we'll just have that on there, if that's okay with council. I could have a motion to approve that.
I'll move to approve the agenda.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. Ready for the question?
Question.
Questions called. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Moving on then to approval of the minutes of the regular council meeting of September the 29th.
I'll move to approve the regular council meeting minutes from September 29th.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Ready for the question?
Question.
Questions called. Those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Special meeting of October the 20th.
I'll move to approve the special council meeting from October 20th, 2025.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Ready for the question?
Question.
Questions called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion's carried. Committee of the Whole of October the 20th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for the committee of the whole.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded.
There you go.
Ready for the question?
Question.
Questions called. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carried. Just before we go on to committee reports, I neglected to mention during roll call that Councillor Fraser sends her regrets. She hopes to join us at some point in time. She had an appointment in Amherst that was somewhat delayed, apparently,
Yeah.
from the email that we received, but she hopes to be here at some point before the meeting is over. Committee reports. Then my report, I believe, was circulated, attached to the minutes, or the package, I should say. Don't think I had anything else other than what was in that to report. If I could find it, I'd refresh my memory to make sure. October, as we know, is Mi'kmaq History Month and is drawing to a conclusion, and we're flying the Mi'kmaq flag in recognition of that. And the fact that we had Chief Tamara Young join us at our Committee of the Whole to talk about the Truth and Reconciliation Commission report was a meaningful exercise for us here on council. Rest of that in my report, basically, I'll just let stand. I should say, with regard to developers, I'll just say that the CAO and myself, for the benefit of council that may not be aware and public, spent the better part of a day today with a potential developer from outside of the province who's keenly interested in Westville and doing some development in Westville and around Westville. toured him around town, showed him several sites available, and we're quite excited that potentially this may lead to some further development in Westville for us. And I say that simply because I've said this before at Planning Advisory in particular, but the fact that the long-term care facility was announced for Westville, and the fact that as a result of that, those that are in that business have been reaching out to the town to get information on possible sites and just what was required from our standpoint, has led to numerous discussions with there's Councillor Fraser arriving now. As I said, she may arrive. Welcome, Councillor Fraser. It has led to discussions with some of these people on other matters that would never have come to our attention. So a really bonus, an unknown sort of thing happened with the fact that we're getting that long-term care. We would never have known if not for that announcement. So, you know, I think it's going to pay dividends for the town, because there's people that did not know about Westville, learned about Westville because of that question about the long-term care facility, and then morphed into other discussions about other potential developments in town and needs that we have. So, fantastic. No. Sorry, CAO asked me a question. The no was for the CAO. All right. Moving on then. Councillor reports. Deputy Mayor McGregor.
Thank you, Your Worship. Going first is different. Now I have to list all of the committees.
That's right.
I have to list all of the committees.
I just
have
moved
to
you
go
up to the
first,
top.
right? Yes, yeah. No, I attended, along with council, we had the Planning Advisory Committee meeting. We had the special council meeting before that on that particular day. Sorry, though, it was a committee of the whole, was the next meeting. Then we had the special council meeting as part of that. Police Commission meeting there last Tuesday. And there was no Glenhaven board meeting this month. It ended up being postponed. There was a couple of scheduling conflicts, so we've just moved it ahead into next month. We're likely to have two this particular month. We're still discussing some governance concerns, I guess we'll use that term, going on at just with the whole transition. I don't think there's any secrets about that. We've talked about it here at council. The Construction Engineering Flight Community Advisory Board usually meets the last week of the month, so there hasn't been one since the last council meeting for one reason or another, so hopefully there's going to be one this month. We don't have any projects on the books for that particular board at this particular time. I can't remember if it was after the last council meeting or not, the opening of the amphitheater. I believe it was since then, so I just want to say congratulations to all the folks involved with that. Not just the construction and the fundraising, but actually the event that day was actually quite well done. I was able to get up later in the afternoon, so I just wanted to acknowledge the hard work of all those folks that were involved with that event. And finally, I don't think they would want their name mentioned, so I won't, but there was a resident did reach out that lives on Church Street to just wanting to express thanks and a job well done with the placement of the asphalt on the sidewalk from Church Street all the way down to Hunter's Lane there. They understand that it's not quite finished, but a much more pleasant and accessible walking experience for folks that try to navigate that sidewalk on Church Street. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor McKinnon.
All right. Good evening, folks. Can everybody hear me? Good? All right. The month went very well. I attended all committee meetings. I echo Deputy Mayor McGregor about the amphitheater. I thought it was an excellent grand opening. I was very pleased. A former student of mine, Drew Francis, came from Pictou Landing and was brave enough to do drumming and the honor song solo on our new stage. I thought that was commendable. Everybody there did a fantastic job, and it was really a great day. So kudos, and very happy to have that in our community. For the fire department, they had a successful truck pull this month. They also had a successful fire prevention week. And other than that, other committee meetings are going well, and I have a couple more coming up this week before October is somehow gone again. Time is flying. And this month, I think I've been learning, following closely new provincial announcements and trying to learn about what's taking place there, and been keeping a close eye on that. So other than that, that is my report for the month.
Thank you very much. Councillor Dunn.
Hi, I also attended all our committees that we had to, meetings and such that we had to attend. I attended a conference in Digby for the Nova Scotia Police Governance Association. I have to send kudos to Tom Vickers from Cape Breton Regional Municipality. Took me under his wing, and really, he was a great knowledgeable person. Again, with the policing that's going on and everything, I think the public needs to look into that themselves so that they're aware of what's going on with the policing in our CMP. They need to be made aware of what's happening. I would like to thank Nova Scotia Power for the new floodlights that they have put into the Victoria Park. Lights it up perfect when you're walking around there at night or driving by or anything like that. So between that and the floodlights on the back of the amphitheater, the park is well lit and is very accessible at night, so it looks really good. So kudos to them. And other than that, that's about it for me.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Councillor Fraser.
Good evening, everybody. Oh, sorry. That's okay. Good evening, everyone. I apologize for my tardiness. I had an appointment out of town that I did not give enough time to, and coming back in the rain wasn't quite what I expected.
Apologies for you, by the way.
Thank you. Awesome. Thank you. And I did attend all committee meetings. We have some work going on with the partnership right now. The LOC and the partnership has a new community involvement group. So I've been attending with some one-on-one interviews to work with the partnership. And again, if anyone is not familiar with Pictou County Partnership, take a look. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're looking for help with grants, yeah, anything really, they are ready to help. So that is one place that I think not a lot of people know about. Pictou County Partnership. Yeah, definitely look there. And that's it.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm just going to comment on Councillor Dunn's comment about the Victoria Park lighting. The reason I say that, I looked down there, and a former councillor who used to sit down there, whose name is Megan, used to constantly bring that up, that we needed better lighting in that park.
Yeah.
So, it's ironic that you're sitting in the same position at the table and bring this
I
forward.
have to say, I pulled a couple of strings for that one.
Perfect. We appreciate it. Very appreciated. CAO Weirs.
I won't add much to the report that's already there, though I will highlight for council and residents that in the next week or two, I hope to have a water well rig at work, looking at a few more well sites. So, we need both quantity and quality. We drilled 3 holes earlier in the year, found quantity but not quality. So on to the next, we'll punch a few more holes in the ground and see what happens. Yeah, I think that's about it. Just to know that that process is ongoing and, is necessary. And we'll see how that, I'll report back as we get results.
Perfect.
The fact that now after 8 or 9 weeks of no rain, we're getting a summer's worth of rain in a couple of days may throw a spanner into those works a bit, but we'll press on and see what happens.
Thank you very much. Maybe there'll be some water in the ground that we can actually find now. I thought, how bad is it that we're trying to find water at one of the driest seasons we've had in
During
recent
a drought.
memory, right? Everyone with a well, I'm sure, was challenged this past summer. So this rain is well received for sure.
Did that affect the quality of the water that we've drilled?
No, we're drilling at depths that, or to depths that are, shouldn't really
Shouldn't?
be impacted. We're looking for artesian water as
Yeah,
opposed to, water that is,
Yeah.
percolating down in a matter of months or whatever. So we're looking for water at much deeper depths.
Perfect.
Okay, then moving on then to protective services, the police, fire, and dog control.
I make a motion that we approve the protective services.
I'll second that motion.
Moved and seconded. You ready for the question?
Question?
Questions called. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Recreation, culture, and leisure services.
I'll move to accept the Recreation, Culture, and Leisure Services report as attached.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Ready for the question?
Question?
Questions called. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carried. Transportation and Environmental Health Services, which includes the water report, public works report, and solid waste report.
I'll move to accept the Transportation Environmental Health Services reports as circulated.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Ready for the question?
Question?
Questions called. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion is carried. I just want, on the solid waste report, I was just going to suggest to council that, and the CAO, for that matter, because I just thought of it, I don't want to forget about it. There's some changes coming with regard to collections in the near future, and the big change is going to be in a dollar savings to towns like us as well, because the producer responsibility is going to be kicking in the new year, which means that, those producers that produce the plastic containers and packaging and all these things that we've been buying for years will have to actually pay to have those things collected from our homes. We've been paying it, unfortunately in Nova Scotia, we've been paying that price. It's in the price of everything that we've been buying for the last 20 years or more, but we've never had extended producer responsibility in Nova Scotia. They had it in other parts of Canada. So now we're going to reap some of the rewards of that. And it's going to mean a cost saving to the town of Westville, because there will be a reduction in the cost of the blue bag collection. But there's going to be some changes as well, some subtle, some, not major, but some minor changes in what goes into the bag. So what I'm going to suggest to council through the CAO is that maybe for a committee of the whole meeting in the near future, we request someone from the education
Waste,
department at Solid Waste to come and inform us, talk to us about those changes, so our citizens are aware.
I did a catering there for the garden club,
Yes.
and they had Earl
Yes.
from the dump out there, and he gave a lot of stuff that, like for an example, we were composting Tim Horton cups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't want them composted.
Right.
They want them put in the garbage because the plastic that's inside the Tim Horton cup
Yeah.
is just spiraling in their machines. Their machines are not capable of separating that.
Yeah,
from
there's
the-
That's
gonna be-
good to know,
So,
because
yeah,
I would
so,
do the
yeah,
same
well,
thing,
And that's
yeah.
exactly, and one of
Because
the,
it's going to be a new collection, the
Yes.
people that are going to be collected is a new company.
Yeah.
And they don't take the same things.
yeah. And one of the
that
ladies at
we've been used to.
the function, she asked that point blank question, like, what do you want us to do with the Tim Horton cups? Because we've been composting, and he said, put them in the garbage. So, yeah.
Yeah, and
There is things
the styrofoam things that come in your packaging and so on.
Yes.
Only a few years ago, we started being able to put those in our blue bags, remember?
Yeah.
I think that's going to be, if I remember correctly, from what I've heard, they're not going to be accepted anymore. So there are going to be changes that people are going to have to be aware of before it
So it'd be
starts.
green stools that would come in.
Can still be recycled,
Right.
but it has to be delivered, as I
Yes.
recall, has to be delivered to Mount Williams.
Right, instead of in the blue
As
bags.
opposed to putting in your
Blue bag, it'll be separate. So there's subtle things of that nature, but I think it'd be good for council
Yeah.
to hear at a committee of the whole.
Well, not
and-
only the
and then
councils,
get the word
I
out for
mean,
residents,
The
basically.
residents also too, because of
Right.
broadcast, right?
I mean, I know there's going to be an education coming, but we might as well get ahead of it if we can for Westville. And
Absolutely.
Must be a weight issue. They must be going to do it in bulk volumes on weight, and some things are in scope with
Yeah.
the
think
fee
that's some of
structure, and then like your
Some are.
styrofoam coming in from wherever, from Temu or wherever you order from, and
there's
it's
reasons.
not part of the process. That's the first I was going to say.
The thing that I like is that our budget, when we do budgets next year, we'll see a difference
Well, that's good.
in our waste
That would be
management
good.
fees, which will be good for everybody in this town. So, moving on then to new and unfinished business, no, sorry, correspondence. We were all copied on a letter that went from the chair of the Regional Library Board to Premier Houston, and ministers were copied, and the MLAs, local MLAs as well, as I recall, with regard to the library funding and the concern that the board, our regional board, and I know Councillor Dunn is a member of, our representative on the regional board, and there's great concern about the lack of funding that's coming from the province. And there's been some cuts, substantial cuts in the base funding to the libraries, and our library downstairs is bears the brunt of that like the others do, and the letter indicates that some of the things that will be impacted are maybe they'll have to cut the hours that the library is actually open, laying off staff across the region. Some of the award-winning services, such as support for virtual care access, will be eliminated, which has been a large take-up here in Westville with that service. I know I spoke to many people who make themselves available to use that service. Programming to support newcomers, the unhoused, seniors, children, families will be reduced or ceased altogether. And because, as we've said many times before, the library does a heck of a lot more than loan out books.
Yeah.
A lot more. In fact, sometimes I think that's the least of what they do in some ways.
And another
So-
thing too, they have cut their funding,
Right.
but now they're making, they have to do these raises, right?
Right.
Like there's
Minimum
another-
wage is going
right,
up.
and the minimum, and exactly, and there's another increase coming the 1st of April.
Coming the 1st of April.
Right.
So, again, the more they increase that, the less money
Right.
that they're actually,
Right.
that they really have,
Yeah.
because the cut
They're
funding,
already
so,
underpaid.
Yeah,
The fact that the minimum wage is going up is going to cost them a problem with making payroll, basically,
Yeah.
is sad in many ways.
Yeah,
Not the least
exactly.
of the fact that they have people working in the library that are making minimum wage.
well, the thing
who,
is, I mean,
you
that's
know,
just it, right? Like, there's some of them that
It's-
they are minimum wage.
A lot of them.
So,
Which is unfortunate.
It
in my
is.
opinion.
oh,
For what they
They're
do.
educated, yep.
So we certainly support that letter going forward to the province. I think as a council, I think I'm safe in saying that we endorse it, as a member of the library board, and we certainly endorse the letter that went out under the chair's signature. I want to bring that to the attention of residents as well. And as I said before, if you're a user of the library, if you recognize and value the library services that we receive, speak out about it. Speak out to your MLA, make your voice heard of your concern, if you can, in any way. Thank you. Okay, new and unfinished business. Moving on, financial statements. So we had the audit report presented at our audit committee a few weeks ago, as we're all aware. And so we received the report from the auditors. The audit committee went over that report. And now we need to address our action on the financial statements for last year.
Correct, Mr. Mayor. And the statements will be available on the website momentarily this week at some point. And I've got a resolution for council regarding the consolidated financial statements. So whereas the audit committee of the town of Westville received and reviewed the audited consolidated financial statements and audit strategy and results report for 2025 prepared by the town, for the town by the auditors on October 8th, 2025, and whereas the audit committee determined that the audited consolidated financial statements were complete and accurate, the committee recommended that town council accept the audited consolidated financial statements for the town of Westville as presented. Therefore, be it resolved that the town council of Westville accepts the 2025 audited consolidated financial statements for the town of Westville as presented.
So moved.
Moved and seconded?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Ready for the question?
Question.
Questions called. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Transfer interest earned to operating reserve, CAO Weirs.
Right, so in a related item, the town of Westville has a surplus, and so I've got you need to decide what to do with that surplus. You've got two choices. You can put it in your operating reserve or your capital reserve. Those are your only two options. Staff, both myself and financial staff, are recommending that council take that surplus and put it into the capital reserves as opposed to the operating reserves. And therefore, I have a resolution related to that. And I'll read that for you. Whereas the town of Westville realized an operating surplus of $392,441 for the year ending March 31st, 2025, and whereas town of Westville desires to build its capital reserves whenever practical and possible, therefore be it resolved, Town Council of Westville approves transfer of $392,441 from the general operating fund to the town's capital reserve for the year ending March 31st, 2025.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Just for clarification on our agenda, there was an error. It does say to transfer to operating.
Yeah, it's
reserve.
transfer
The
from
motion-
operating.
The resolution, as you just heard, is to go to capital. so
Capital.
Correct.
that was just an error on the agenda there. Okay, ready for the question?
Questions?
Questions called. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Capital expenses, the gazebo at the pop-up.
Yes. Might I
Yes.
go, stay on the financial theme for just a moment?
Yes.
With one additional finance-related resolution. So the town earns interest on its accounts from time to time. And again, with that interest, you have kind of two places you can put it. You can put it in capital or you can put it in operating. Contrary to the previous.
That's the agenda item. This one is the agenda item.
This one is the
Oh,
agenda.
this is the
Right.
agenda, so the
Oh,
first
yes,
one
it is.
wasn't, okay,
Financial
okay.
statement required the
Right,
resolution
right,
for
right.
that, yes.
My bad, you're right.
So,
I was confused.
So, contrary to the previous recommendation, the recommendation from staff with regarding to regarding the interest earned on our accounts is to put it into operating because it's generally not large enough to make a significant
Right.
impact on capital,
Right.
whereas you know, for
400,000,
operating it might be helpful. So I'll read you the resolution. Whereas Town of Westville earns interest on its accounts from time to time, and whereas town staff recommend that all interest earned on town's funds stay with the operating fund to assist with operations unless otherwise required by legislation or lending agreements. Therefore, be it resolved, Town Council directs that all future interest earned on town funds be directed to the town's operating fund as a matter of course, unless otherwise required by legislation or lending agreements.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. You ready for the question?
Question?
Question called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion is carried. So in future years,
Okay.
we will not have to have a resolution each year. It'll be a matter of course.
Correct. We'll just,
What it is.
we'll just make it so, and those,
Yeah.
you know, interests will go into
And-
the operating fund. They will
Right.
get used for operational issues, and
Right.
all will be good with the world.
And your worship, I believe historically, the 5 years I've been here, that was a
Yeah.
matter of course anyway, just we had to go through it.
Right.
Every
Each time you had to go
Every
through
time,
it?
yeah.
Okay.
If I remember correctly.
No, I think you're right. I think you're right. And my apologies for not picking up the word interest transfer there previously. Now can we go to the gazebo?
We can go to the gazebo
Okay.
now, yes, if you wouldn't mind. So just as background for this, you've already approved this. The difference is that between, when I brought it forward last month, a decision hadn't been made about how to deal with bollards. So we're proposing to remove those big, ugly concrete Jersey barriers
Please.
and replace it with bollards and kind of rope to improve the look of the pop-up market area. The number that you approved last month was right, but we didn't have a number for the bollards expense. And so there's about a $1,200 to $1,500 additional cost that wasn't in the previous mix. And so what I'm doing is correcting that now. So it's the same resolution, just with a slightly higher number in it.
And it's the same grant.
And it's the same grant, the same contractor, same timeline.
Beautiful.
Just
Yeah.
instead of
One
being
thing.
$21,000 or $22,000, it's $23,300.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'll read this for you.
And we need this to match the invoice that we were.
Correct,
that we
yeah, so
have,
it's just,
actually.
it's all about lining up
Yeah, checks and
the
balances.
various books that we have to keep in track. So whereas Town of Westville has been awarded a grant to enhance the appearance and functionality of the Westville Pop-Up Market, whereas the town has determined that a gazebo would provide the appropriate and useful enhancement, and whereas Westville sought out and received written quotes to supply and erect a 20 by 14 gazebo that are in line with the town's budget, and whereas town staff have reviewed and received the received quotes and determined that the firm Harborline Design Build provides appropriate expertise and the lowest price. Therefore, be it resolved that town council authorize the expenditure of up to $23,300 plus HST for the construction of the proposed gazebo, and be it further resolved that council awards a contract to undertake the construction of the proposed gazebo to Harborline Design Build.
So moved.
I'll
Second it.
Moved and seconded. You ready for the question?
Question.
Questions called. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion is carried.
The last thing I'll say on that item, Mr. Mayor, is that I anticipate construction to start in early November sometime, and to proceed fairly quickly and be done before the snow flies.
So you're predicting no snow before December?
I'm predicting no, this is me predicting no snow before December 15th.
That'll be on the record, of course.
And,
Shoot
you
the
know,
Yankee Sam.
like the
second
bollards
that.
that I was just mentioning, we're proposing to use screw piles so that this is all very temporary. As you know, that we've got it on a town lot. But you know, we've designed that entire pop-up market to be movable should it need to be movable for development reasons. Not that there's anything in the works yet, but, you know, I live in hope that somebody comes in and says, oh, I want to put a, 8,000 square foot commercial building on Westville Main Street.
Right.
You know,
That'd
may
be nice.
happen. I have one other related resolution, so related to the pop-up market. So just as context, again, you'll remember that the town sought a grant for enhancements. Part of the enhancements was the gazebo that we just talked about, but we also got some money to do a little bit of landscaping, acquire some lighting, acquire some tables and chairs, and a storage unit to put those in. And so while I have the money, I need, because all these things are capital assets, I need council's approval to proceed to purchase those items. And so that's what I have a resolution for you on. And so it reads as follows. Whereas Town of Westville has been awarded a grant to enhance the appearance and functionality of the Westville Pop-Up Market, and whereas Town of Westville has determined that tables, chairs, a storage unit, parking lot and gazebo lighting, bollards and ropes, landscaping, and garbage receptacles will provide appropriate and useful enhancements to the pop-up market. And whereas Westville staff have sought out, received, and reviewed quotes to purchase and/or install 10 tables, 20 chairs, a storage unit, parking lot and gazebo lighting, 20 bollards and rope, landscaping materials and garbage receptacles, that are in line with the town's budget. Therefore, be it resolved that town council authorize the expenditure of up to $25,000 plus HST for the purchase and installation of the above proposed pop-up market enhancements.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, ready for the question?
Question.
On the question?
Yep.
Just to confirm, this grant money, this is also grant money as well?
Correct.
Similar, it's
It's
all.
all part of the
it's all
same.
part of the same,
The
yes.
enhancement
Yeah.
thing. It's just that, the
Yeah.
gazebo was a big thing,
Yeah.
was a large single capital expenditure. These are a collection of much smaller capital expenditures.
And important to note, I guess, because folks, residents sometimes hear these numbers on some of these things recently. Just in one of our last meetings, there was some concerns raised, so the money would not otherwise be diverted into something else. This is money that is specifically granted to the town, earmarked specifically for these things.
Correct.
This is not coming out of any of our capital reserves. This is all money that we receive.
Correct.
External.
Yeah, not all.
Not
I mean,
all.
there's
There
a
was
small,
some,
there's a
yes.
small municipal proportion of it.
Yeah.
So, which is in the kind of 15%
Right.
zone or
Right,
something
and that
along
was all
those
agreed
lines.
to when we applied for the grant initially, yes, I knew there
Correct.
was some, but the junk of this is all grant
Yeah,
money.
the vast
Yeah.
majority is
Yeah.
money that is being provided by one level of government or another.
Like $4,
and
$1.
there's- Yeah, and so, the original money for the creation of the pop-up and the units that are there and the electrification and the cameras and the internet and all that was federal money. The ones we've just talked about, the gazebo and the
Provincial.
enhancements, is provincial money that, from the Community Economic Development Fund that, we were able to demonstrate, we've got these people here and it could, the pop-up market could be more successful if it was more attractive. They
Yeah.
agreed and have forwarded, forwarded approval of the grant request.
Very good.
Thank you.
Are we done with our financial
We have to
Yes,
finish.
we are.
for now?
Yep.
We have to finish.
Pardon?
We're on the question.
Our dear sir.
Oh, we're on the question,
One
sorry.
question, yeah, question.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you know.
Get sidetracked.
When the question's called. Question's called. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Thanks for that. That's why we have a deputy mayor, see? Right?
He's on the ball.
He takes his role seriously. He does a
does.
good job.
I do.
Dear survey, okay,
Yes,
so
here
this
we
is,
go.
this was rather interesting. I guess maybe not surprising.
Yeah,
results,
so for those of you in the room with your packages, it's the last package, or the last sort of 5 or 6 or 7 pages of your package. I think it's important, the 316 responses, not bad. I was pleasantly surprised it was that big.
I think it's good.
That many responses. 80% feel the deer is a problem. Not particularly surprising. Close to 80% support a bylaw banning the feeding of deer, but only 56% of residents and landowners in Westville support allocating a lot of funds and resources to dealing with the deer. Just a couple of other things that I would say. One of the questions was, what's your primary concern about deer? And so overwhelmingly, it was landscaping, eating my flowers, and denting my car when I run into them.
Right.
Fair enough. I think the only thing that I found interesting in that was there is a large proportion, about 20%, a little under 20% of residents who think that ticks and Lyme disease are somehow causally related to deer, or deer and ticks and Lyme disease are causally related, and I think that the science is pretty clear that that's not the case, that deer don't bring ticks. Ticks are already here, they just happen to feed on deer too. So just something to
You transport.
be aware of. 50% of respondents saw deer at least once a day, and many saw it many more times than that in a day. There are a very small number of, so one of the worries about deer is, you know, are they having negative interactions other than being hit by cars or hitting cars, however you choose to express that? Are deer causing problems or having negative interactions with residents and or their pets? And for the vast majority, like 90%, no. A small percentage of people have had kind of negative interactions, and they are a little bit concerning when you read so there was a kind of a fill the blanks, you know, tell us about your negative experience. And some of them are a little concerning in the sense that, you know, deer have been habituated to people to the extent that they're actually kind of willing to kind of, you know,
Engage a bit.
yeah, not threatened and maybe overstating it, but
Yeah.
you know, if you're a little kid out
engage.
there, deer are big. And so anyway, that's, I think, is something that we need to be thinking about. Most of the, you know, the deer damage is really property related and that sort of thing. And so, again, over 75% thinks that there should be a bylaw banning the feeding of deer. Just, you know, my comment would be you know, if that's where you want to go, that's fine, good. Enforcement will be a challenge for this in any town. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Yeah, I think that 316 responses was very good, in fact. You know, I think we have like 1,700 residents in town, like, not
1,700
people. I mean,
residences.
dwellings, I
Yeah.
should say,
Wow.
dwellings. So if you take that into consideration, you know, and you think if you got one response from every dwelling, just one response, you know, that'd be 1,700. So I make that to be, my math's not very good when it comes to percentages, but I think that's like 20% or so response, based on that sort of criteria. I know we have more people than that, but not everybody's going to, some of them are kids, not going to fill in the response probably. In any event, it's a good response, I think, number-wise. So we asked residents what they thought, they've told us, and now as a council, we have to decide what do we do with that information that residents have given us, right? With regard to the deer population in town. The one thing that CAO referenced, obviously, was that there was overwhelming support for a bylaw, you know, or suggestion that we should have a bylaw.
We could, I mean, the bylaw, we could do that very easily, but it has to be enforced. Secondly, for an example, if I was to call and say Sarah was feeding the deer, I have to be willing to say Sarah was feeding the deer when the bylaw officer comes with the complaint to Sarah. So they have to be aware that that's part of it, right? It's not just a piece of paper, here, stop doing it.
Your worship, there's a couple of things I want to say. First, in particular, and I don't think CAO omitted this stat for any reason at all when you were going through them. The one that stood out to me was 88% of the 316 respondents reported a motor vehicle accident in the last 5 years as well, like the statistic. I know we touched on the property damage, but that's a pretty alarming statistic when you look
Yeah,
at
that's a big
of the
one.
316. Now, that said, does that compel, of those 88% of the 316, was that the motivating factor to fill out the survey as well? So, I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's a good representation of our population. The numbers were a little bit higher than I expected.
I think you
as
got
well.
it backwards.
The
It's
88% was
Deputy Mayor,
no.
88's no.
88 was
12% is
no.
yes.
Oh,
It's
that's
only
way
12% of those
Yeah.
people.
Way
Yeah,
better.
yeah.
88.
Way better.
I wrote that down.
Because
as soon
that
as
is a
I
big
saw it.
number, yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right. The mayor and I are switching things backwards
Yeah.
here today, and that's all right. But my comment is in and around the bylaw itself. And I don't see, you know, the residents have spoke very clearly what they think. I've been here, you know, in this council for a year and the previous one for a while, and, you know, the conversations on the street have been the same. And we finally went out to the town. We've got a little bit of information here. Now, you know, there is a process to enact a bylaw in the town. And I think, you know, maybe without delay, we should be instructing staff to, you know, draft a bylaw similar to what other recent municipalities very close to us have done and actually enacted their bylaws. And then we can have the more wholesome debate about the bylaw and have public input, you know, in the future. That's obviously the process. As for the enforcement, I mean, that's the struggle with anything, and I understand the other jurisdictions, the other towns are, you know, using the education approach too.
Yep.
And, you know, I would entrust our police services to, you know, be able to navigate that once we come up with whatever it is that we come up with. But the you know, the just continued inaction on our behalf, just, we can't continue to just kind of drag our feet with some of these things. And I know we were waiting for the province last council, because the province was supposed to potentially step up with some more regulations provincially. They've never come to fruition. They've also have the requirement for a study. We're not even talking about the next possible steps, but these things all take time. So if we're gonna be rowing in that direction, I think we need to start, and we need to start today with getting that on paper and moving it forward.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I've been
Thank you.
talking
I
about
agree.
yeah.
And I think this study
a lot.
itself was through natural resources, and that was a 4 or 5 year process in itself. So even if we need to look at how much it would cost the town of Westville when we get to that point of enforcing it, step 1 is the bylaw. Step 2 is how we enforce that going. So step 1 is creating the bylaw, which is clearly what
Yeah,
79% of people of that survey want us to do.
there will be
so.
some expense that we'll have to incur, even through education,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, Your worship, just on the enforcement thing, like most municipal bylaws, you know, complaints are what drive it.
Right.
And so it really is, you know, creating a bylaw in and of itself doesn't do anything, because the deer don't read.
That's right.
So, you know, it is over to residents of Westville to read, understand, and then when they see, you know, assuming that it's a no-feed bylaw, when they see feeding, to bring it to the attention of the town. Because we don't have people out there cruising around looking for people feeding deer. And, you know, what we need is neighbors to kind of say, oh, Scott's feeding the deer. Scott shouldn't be feeding the deer, I know. So you might
Scott
want to go.
thinks deer can read.
That's right, yeah, exactly. So, you know, so that's the challenge.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's the challenge we have with everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think the
Mr.
deputy
Mayor, oh,
mayor's-
sorry,
yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, there are quite a few residents who are ready to make those complaints and had no avenue
Right.
yet.
Had no avenue,
There is a very bad situation on Acadia,
It's a
very
pretty o-
bad.
It's pretty obvious who it is.
We
and
know who it
so,
is.
yeah.
I've witnessed it myself.
no
So, I
teeth
mean,
right now,
and there
there
are neighbors in that area who are just waiting to have an opportunity to call a bylaw or something.
So, to Deputy Mayor's suggestion, there is a process. If council instructs through motion staff to undertake drafting of bylaw and initiate the procedure to enact the bylaw, there will be a procedure that will involve public engagement as a part of that. So that'll give an opportunity for residents to come and speak, you know, again, in person, hopefully, as opposed to the survey. And we'll get a little more input and a little more education around it as well. I think it'll, you know, that whole process of going through enacting the bylaw in itself will be starting our educational process as well at the same time, I would think.
Well, and your worship, I think it's important to note with this type of a bylaw, because of the, you know, the need for the general deterrent factor, including, and the specific deterrent factor as well, is when we draft this bylaw, we have many bylaws on the books that say punishable of a fine of up to X, Y, and Z. We need to ensure that this one has a registered schedule with Department of Justice, that it is actually enforceable and actually has a fine that can be delivered through summary offense tickets, because right now a lot of our fines that we do speak to for bylaw violations are more in spirit and not enforceable. Unfortunately, just the way that the schedule works under the Summary Proceedings Act. So it's very important that if we do, that we then put a mechanism in to allow the police, when they do investigate, you know, or whomever it might be, we don't have a bylaw officer in town, so it defaults to the police, obviously. You know, that would have to be a consideration in this as well, to make sure that we get it right with an enforcement mechanism.
So the chair would entertain a motion to that effect. If someone wishes to put one together, I'd gladly entertain that. Deputy Mayor?
Yeah, I would move to instruct staff to prepare a draft bylaw on the feeding of deer and wildlife in the town of Westville.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Are you ready for the question?
Question.
Questions called. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion is carried. By the say, when I say those opposed, nay, that's not me voting nay. I vote when the motion's called, and I voted positive. Okay. Property tax write-offs on 2 properties. Where's?
Your Honor, I believe that is a
I thought so.
Leftover
from
from
a
last time.
previous,
I
I
thought-
think it's a cut and paste error in
is.
the
Oh.
building of the agenda.
Okay, I thought, okay.
Thought we had 2 more.
Like 2 more?
I just thought we had 2 more.
I believe that's what happened.
Okay.
All right,
So I think
perfect.
it's just a simple cut and paste
All
error.
right.
My apologies.
So, Councillor Fraser, just before you arrived, I did add to the agenda Remembrance Day crosswalks.
Okay.
And basically, and I did also, before you arrived, acknowledge Don Calder and the contributions that he's made to our Remembrance Day services in the past number of years, and as president of the Legion and so on.
Yeah.
And
Sad,
just
sad.
wanted you to be aware of that. I know your involvement in the Legion, that's why I say that specifically.
Thank you.
So what council, we've discussed this amongst council, and there's no need for a motion of any kind, I don't think, but I'd entertain one. I don't think we need one. I think it's going to be an operational matter, basically, when we get to it. But just so residents are aware, that our plan as a council is to have the installation of Remembrance Day crosswalks in a couple locations in town. One of them obviously being near our cenotaph downtown on Main Street. And so this will be, some people may have seen in other areas, the jurisdictions that they've used these in the past number of years. Remembrance Day, lest we forget, painted on the sidewalk. It's a template that's been approved by the Canadian Legion.
Yeah,
Royal
it's just the same,
Canadian
Mr.
Legion,
Mayor, that
format that
CAO
we're
Weir's
using,
checked in, yep.
and that we will be using. I know that our public works staff, this I just came up in the last couple of days, and kudos to our public works Superintendent Chris and
Paint
staff.
came today.
For
paint
getting
came
the paint, I mean, finding the paint, number
Yeah.
1, and getting the stencils, number 2, and preparing to do the work, prior to Remembrance Day, weather permitting.
Weather period.
Weather
yeah.
permitting, yeah.
And, and it was no small feat, as Chris noted to me, that, that color of paint, that red, is not a common one for crosswalk use. And he wasn't sure whether he could ever be able to find it, but he was able to procure it, much to his ability. And so we're grateful for the Public Works for undertaking to do this in short notice. And hopefully residents will appreciate and respect the meaning of those crosswalks that will be installed. So one is, at least one is going to be on Main Street, as I said, by the cenotaph. The other one that we're proposing that I think is down near the Legion on Spring Garden is the other location that we're thinking about. So just want residents to be aware of that and look for those in the coming days prior to Remembrance Day. And this is we won't have a meeting prior to Remembrance Day as a council, so just encourage people once again to support the Legion and buy your poppies. By the way, this is one I kept over from last year. I haven't seen them for sale yet, but I will buy a new one when they're available. And to support the Legion in their poppy campaign, number 1, and make sure to come out and pay respects on Remembrance Day, which is coming soon. And Westville is one of the best communities that I've ever seen for the size of this community to show up and show out every Remembrance Day, and I know that it'll be the same this year. We've already, in the unfortunate circumstance of bad weather, the gymnasium has been booked in that event in case that happens. Hopefully not. We'll hope for good weather on that day. So yeah, I think that's exciting news that we're going to do that. Thought about it last year, but we were a little late off the mark and didn't have time to do it, so we'll get it done this year. Blue Jays, just before we go to the public engagement, Deputy Mayor McGregor asked, do you think it's appropriate to wear Blue Jays regalia at the meeting tonight?
I did ask permission.
You did ask permission?
I did not.
I said perfectly legit. I don't have any Blue Jays paraphernalia, but I wore my blue, the bluest Blue Jay color I could find in a jacket to wear tonight with my blue shirt. So that's my toast to the Blue Jays and the success. And I know we'll all be watching tonight, hopefully for the best. The other thing that we wanted to do before we conclude and go to public engagement wasn't on the agenda, but because we missed this last year, and Deputy Mayor McGregor reminded me, in years gone by on council, in Westville Council, there was a councillor by the name of Charlie Sutherland, longtime councillor Charlie Sutherland, who every year prior to Halloween or our October meeting always made a motion with regard to Halloween in Westville. And so I'm going to call it the Charlie Sutherland motion. And maybe I'll ask the Deputy Mayor to offer that motion
I
tonight.
don't recall the hours, if you could refresh.
5 to 8.
It was 5 to 8,
Yeah,
was
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Yeah,
And we did move this before, and then we just kind of dropped off the last couple of years there. And anyway, it's more symbolic than anything. There's no standing if you have to.
There's no bylaw.
There's no bylaw if you don't get out till late with your kids because it's 8:30. It's just more symbolic than anything. But I would move that the official trick or treating hours in Westville be from 5 until 8 o'clock p.m. on Friday.
And I will second that.
Moved and seconded that the Charlie Sutherland motion be approved. Are you ready for the question? Questions being called. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion
I
is
think
carried.
that's great.
Maybe we send a copy to Charlie as well. Right? Very good. Thank you very much. Before we go to public engagement, just to mention that the next meetings, Committee of the Whole, will be on November the 17th. The Police Advisory Commission will be on November the 18th. Here in Chambers, both of those. Planning Advisory Committee on the 19th, and Accessibility Committee meeting on the 20th at 7 p.m. And our next regular council meeting will be on November the 24th here in Council Chambers. This brings us to public engagement. Delegations come before council. Anyone with any comment, question, concern, accolades? We accept accolades as well. Come to the mic, state your name and your address, and we'll gladly hear your comments. So this is one reason it's an advantage to come to council as opposed to watching on YouTube, because we can't really take your questions or comments through YouTube.
Dave Dagan, North Main Street. I know the town doesn't have a lot of sway or be able to give really good answers on this, but I'm hoping to give some in regards to, it was back in like April or May that NSCC talked about, we're gonna go there tomorrow if we can and start working at school. And 6-7 months have passed. I know they've had an issue with Rob Joyce, whatever that, but
Right.
6 or 7 months have passed. Just kind of wondering, like, where does that stand as far as what the town has for information? That's one. The other one, the LTC, it said here earlier that we were waiting, all that sort of stuff for the RFPs. They were supposed to be done in early October. And I heard they got an extension for a couple of weeks, whatever. And now it's the end of October. So, like,
Okay. So just.
are they, you getting any information
Okay.
from anybody? It's
Yeah.
just, you get lots of talk from not just people in town,
Right.
but from people out around the community still wondering what's going on, like that. Is there any update on any of that?
Fair, I can give those. So the question, for those that couldn't hear it on YouTube, was with regard to specifically the school project and the long-term care project. You know, where do they stand currently? What do we know about them? Are they proceeding? Short answer, yes, both of them are proceeding and will proceed and will be done. That could be them calling me right now to say that, you know, they're ready to build. I don't know. But I'll deal with that later. But in any event, you know, I think, you know, what I'm going to say is Planning Advisory Committee, number one, usually is a place where a lot of these things are updated. And I take the point well that, you know, perhaps we should speak more about them at our regular council meeting and bring those up to date and forward. When we do the Planning Advisory report, perhaps would be an appropriate time when we accept that. Short answers then. Yes, you're absolutely right. The school project through the Nova Scotia Cooperative Council has had a hiccup and a delay because of the concern about the particular joists that were used in the construction of that facility when it was built in the 60s. The problem there was that the ROB joist, so-called ROBB joist, the type of joist that was used in many buildings in Nova Scotia, when it was identified that there might be some defects in some of those joists by the province, they compiled a list and they did inspections of these buildings back in the 80s, the mid-80s, I'm thinking. Unfortunately, for some reason, unbeknownst to us or to anyone that we can find to speak to, the Highland Consolidated School was not on the list, and so did not get inspected. We thought at first, when it became obvious that they were the ROB joist and that for a cooperative council to proceed with their financing, number one, through CMHC, they needed to be assured that it was structurally sound. And so in order to do that, they had to show that those joists were sound. So where it stands now is that Community Cooperative Council, I should say, are undertaking to find an engineer to do that inspection, make recommendations as to the condition of them, sign off on them, or do what repairs need to be done. CIO might be able to chime in and say where that is. It sounds like it's a simple thing. Apparently it's not, to find that qualified person.
Yeah, just the only, I mean, I think you got it perfectly right, Mr. Mayor. The only kind of addition that I would say is that NSCC is in discussion with engineering firms to identify the engineer to come in and look at the joists and then, or a sample of the joists, and then they'll extrapolate from that sample to try and understand what the remediation costs are. So there will be some remediation costs. What's unknown at the time is how big that bill will be. You know, if it's a $5 million bill, that could be a problem. If it's a $500,000 bill, probably not so much of a problem. But right now, it's an unknown. And so what NSCC is doing is going through a process to understand what the cost of remediation will be. Not all, you know, the joists, the manufacturing defect in the joists were the result of inappropriate welding technique. And so not every joist is a problem. It's some joists are a problem. And so the issue is figuring out which joists need to be fixed and remediated. So it's entirely doable. My expectation is that the cost will not be all that significant. It'll be hundreds of thousands, a couple 100,000, 300,000. I don't know. I'm just guessing. But my guess is that it's in that kind of zone. That sort of remediation cost is unlikely to put the project at any financial risk. It's just a time and availability of expertise issue that needs to be sorted out.
Yeah, and I can assure people that the Cooperative Council are as anxious as anyone to get on with the job. They would have liked to have been far down the road on that project as much as all citizens that are concerned about it, and as this council is concerned about it. They feel the same. They are anxious to get on with it.
not, you know,
Not as of today.
yeah, well,
Not as of today.
yeah, so, you know, they'll share with us what they want to share with us when they're able to share it with us, and so.
And the other thing is, I will say this, the meeting that we had the last meeting we had with them, they basically, you know, they'll look at as the CAO was saying, the numbers, what the cost would be to remediate, and, you know, they'll do an analysis of the value of the building as it currently stands and what the cost to repair those if they need to be repaired. Maybe they won't even need to be repaired. Maybe they'll find they're fine. Hopefully, that'll be the case, as opposed to taking it down and building new. If it came to that, they're committed to following through with the project one way or the other. Okay, so, you know, we are going to see the apartment construct, you know, there on that site through the cooperative council. That's my understanding, that's my feeling on it currently, one way or the other. And as soon as humanly possible, or I guess professionally possible. On the long-term care, you are precisely right. The request for proposals concluded a couple of weeks ago. And our understanding, and we have nothing to do with this process whatsoever as a town, as a council. It's an entirely provincial matter. But that has closed. That portion of this process has closed. The province now has at hand those proponents who are interested in being the builder and operator of the long-term care facility here in Westville. They have to then go through and analyze those proposals and vet them and determine who they're going to select and award that contract to the appropriate proponent. Like I said, we don't have any say in that. Our best understanding from what we've been told is from those that are in the business that we've talked to and are used to this sort of process, they told us that after the close, we can probably, if it closed a couple of weeks ago, we can probably anticipate that there won't be an announcement before the end of this year. December, either late December or early January.
Yeah,
Either
the
the
new year.
late this year or the beginning of 2026 is when we should expect to know when or who the proponent is. And the other thing that I will say is that speaking with several of the possible operators that have approached us, they're all ready to go at a moment's notice. Soon as the province says you're the chosen people, they're ready to go in a moment's notice to start the process of building that place. And that process, by the way, that building these long-term care has been sped up significantly over the last number of years. They can put them up a lot faster. But remember, the proposed opening date was 2028. So, you know, they'll have 2 years. They'll have 2 years to build the facility and get it open. Then when the government announced it, when the Premier announced it in December of, or November, I should say, of 2023, the date for opening was 2028. So that's still the case as far as we know. And as you are well know, originally when it was announced, it was going to be 48 beds, but when the tender went out, it was for 96 beds. So it's a 96-bed unit that's been tendered. Yeah, trust me, as mayor, my patience is not great on that matter, but we have no choice but to wait,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Mr. Mayor, the other thing that I would say is, you know, this is a $35 to $40 million project. Nobody in their right mind, please, is going to make that decision tomorrow. This takes analysis and comparison,
Yeah.
and that's the process we're in, and we will not hear a word from the government of Nova Scotia about this issue until they have completed that analytical process and have made a decision and have vetted whoever they think is going to be the right person or the right firm or consortium to do the work, and then they will tell the consortium, and Westville will be amongst the last to know, just as residents of Westville will be amongst the last to know. We have no dog in this fight, and we are just waiting, like everybody else, for the process to work its way through And, you know, with a price tag of that sort of magnitude, I want them to be careful and slow and do it, you know, in a comprehensive manner.
It's still going to be a game changer for this town. I said it again today. Just what I referenced earlier in the meeting about, you know, the developers that we've come in contact with now that are aware of Westville, that weren't aware of Westville prior to that announcement, is one thing in itself that, you know, it's a bonus for us. And so it's going to spur a lot of other development because those people that are entrepreneurs and developers, they recognize that when you build a facility of that size and the number of people that are going to be working there, the number of residents that are going to be in there, and family coming and so on, the needs in the community for those people are that we don't have the capacity to meet right now. So they're saying, hey, we can help with that. We can build the structures that you're going to need. So it's exciting. It's all get out. I still remain extremely excited about it. It's going to be a major boost to this town moving forward. Other thing that just occurred to me and thought about, because you didn't ask about this one, but I get asked occasionally because there's been a lot of talk about it for the last 2 years or more, and that's our development on Drummond, right across the street here from the town hall, the Shaw, so-called Shaw development, Shaw group development. The word that we just received in the past couple days, I believe, CAO, was that they expect to be breaking ground there soon for the infrastructure work that will be required. But they are looking at delivering the first units of those 10 units that are going to be going here on Drummond Road. Their proposed date now for the start of the delivery will be on April of 2026. Not that far away when you think about it. Hard to say that, but it's true. So that's just to get that out there too, that they've indicated to us now just this past couple days that they're looking at probably delivery of the first units there, and those will be units that will be available for a sale, so purchase. So just on that one, Acadia Avenue, you know, the 24 units down there moving forward. We were just down there today. 3 of the units are in. There's another one ready to go in. And those units that went in already are filled, have been gobbled up just to show the need for rental units in our community. They're occupied. And that will be finished in the next couple of months. And then we have the Union Street one that we just approved at Planning Advisory and Council recently. The 16 units, townhouse units down on Union, and we should see activity starting in that relatively soon as well. So there's a little bit of an update of the ones that we know, at least anyway. Anything else? Okay. Do we have need for, I don't think we have, okay, perfect. So no further business to come before us. As I said before, I know it's a little ways off, but Remembrance Day, please come out and support our veterans and the Legion and in remembrance of all those people who sacrificed for the rights that we experience today and support the Legion throughout this. Our best wishes once again to Don Calder as he deals with his health issues. And have a safe and happy Halloween as well. And with that, we stand adjourned.